know what to say.
Kehlani, tell us how you got involved. What was the moment that politicized you about Palestine?
You know, I had people approach me about 4 years ago to educate me on the matter. And when I spoke up, my number was leaked and I got a lot of threats and I backed out. And I was like, I'm too scared. Like, I don't know what this means. I've never been doxxed before. I've never had my information put out there. I've never received threats for speaking up for something that I believe in. Coming from Oakland, California, and being used to being liberal, I still haven't received, what I received in that moment. And in that moment, I allowed myself to be scared and I backed up. And when this spike starting October 7th happened again, I said, I don't think this is not a place for fear for me, because no matter what, this fear equates to what's going on, and it's going to require all of us to actively decide to not be fearful in that way. So yeah, it was just me saying it's an easy decision to make. It's very obvious. People are getting killed at mass rates. They're trying to exterminate an entire group of people. At what point is this something that we have to think twice about? So
That's really, really powerful to hear. I think what has kept you in this movement, what's keeping you courageous at this time? What are things that you're witnessing in actions or demonstrations of solidarity that's affirming or sustaining you through this moment?
I think I'm watching my generation actively decide to get educated further than making posts on Instagram, further than going outside and seeing a group of people that are protesting and being like, I want to be outside and yell for something too, but they're taking what they feel and they're getting educated, and they're learning what it means to mobilize, and they're learning what it means to like strategize and have strategy in this way to actually do something further. I'm watching people who potentially never stood for something in their life yet publicly, but have these feelings of like wanting to live in a better world, be like, oh yeah, I'm not fucking with Starbucks, I'm not going here, I'm not buying this, I'm not, like, have never even understood what boycotting and divestment even is. I'm watching people say, how do we gather properly? Like right now, I do want to go host this thing, or I want to be at this place, but how do I turn my social gathering into a moment where I talk about what it's like to call your representatives, or have moments of prayer, or raise awareness in this way? And I think that it is the start of a really big possibility of change in the world for every movement that's requiring us to exist in this way together. People my age who have an extreme disconnect to government, who don't even understand voting, who don't understand what Congress even does, who don't understand what the point of the president is, who like literally have that disconnect, actively decide to participate in the world in that way. So I think that alone is keeping me going, and seeing that there's so many people so passionate about seeing these people be saved from the hell that is going on right now, and wake up about every other hellish genocide that is existing in the world right now. So I mean, people weren't aware of Congo. People weren't aware of what's going on in Yemen. People weren't aware of what's going on in Sudan. And this movement has brought so much attention to every other movement. And I think it's honestly the beginning of a really incredible fight.
I want to just lift up, thank you for sharing. And I want to also just lift up that I've been really in awe and gratitude for the way that you've been very vocal, and not just like vocal in terms of how you're posting, but the ways that you're checking in and following up and asking what more can be done. And when we talked about this convoy, you're someone that I've been in direct conversation with. You're one of the first people that was like, tell me I'm about it. Where are we going? When we there? Tell me the date, the time. We there? Tell me the date, the time, the place. And I just want to really lift up. Thank you for being about it. Thank you for putting your body where your mouth is and really standing behind the things you believe. I know that when we were officially thinking of dates for the convoy, regardless of what it was, you were like, I'm gonna be at that convoy, or I'm gonna figure out a way to get people there. And so it has been inspiring to also see the way that you're mobilizing and gathering other people in support. And so I wanted to ask you, what are some of the challenges or some of the things that have inspired you about how you've been able to get people involved? And as your outreach, what are the things that maybe you're disappointed about, but also really inspired by?
Well, first, I want to say thank you, and thank everybody who has so much patience to educate everybody who's like, look, I might be starting from level 1 of radicalization or like political education or education on what's going on. Like it's via the labor of all the organizers who are going, okay, like every time there's a spike in an injustice, have to start over with educating an entire new group of people, and y'all do it without fatigue and without rest and without oftentimes the proper support. So really, like, we owe it all to the people who have been fighting this and who have taken the time to educate, you know, people like me. I think what's been interesting to see about the effects, I can speak pertaining specifically to my industry, and I'm seeing people who, I mean, I started with kind of like the shame. I came about it with the real, like, shame works. Shame as a teacher. I'm about to just say, why the fuck are y'all so quiet? And what the fuck is going on? And what amount of money in what crazy building you're in? Because I'm in these buildings. I do have these conversations. I have got these accusations of being anti-Semitic, and I have had people officially cut off from working with me and not wanting to, you know, share space with me or contribute to the career that I've been building for ages. And I still am seeing people go, wow, if there's multiple of us, they can't take out all of us. They can't shut all of us down. It went from the few pinpointed people speaking and everybody being scared to people kind of having that tick of realization of we're powerful in numbers. It's the people united will never be divided, and that emphasis on united stands across every. I'm watching communities that I never even expected. There are skateboarders coming together to push for Palestine. There's surfers doing paddle out for Palestine. There's actors and musicians and all these little important communities that otherwise will just kind of float on and exist in a world, that are realizing that every chance to gather together in whatever way that looks like is contributing towards the cause. And I think it's really cool. I think it's never had the attention and the commitment. You know, I think it's beyond attention right now. I'm seeing a lot of people really show commitment, like people actively, like, forfeiting their Starbucks deals or forfeiting stop performing where they were invited if that place is run by a company that directly supports Israel. Or like, we're seeing like actual bravery, and still people are able to in that moment attribute their bravery to what people are displaying in Palestine. So I don't know. I think I'm just happy that, you know, I'm happy I get to get in real time. I'm happy that we in our lifetime may see a free Palestine.
Thank you so much, Kehlani, for making time. I know it's, you know, you got your baby, you got a bunch of other things, but we appreciate you. We thank you for being so open, such a great advocate. I know you have new music coming, you have new art coming, and we want to also lift up that our artists, we need to support them when they are standing up for our values and doing the things that we care about. We know that puts them at risk. But yeah, girl, thank you for supporting the convoy. Hopefully we get through and we could be about it in real life. But
Yeah.
we're asking everybody who's tuning in, please check the pinned link right now. Copy and paste that link, fill out the form, and get involved. Learn more about the Global Conscience Convoy. You can follow at Global Conscience Convoy on Instagram. And yes, Kehlani, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Also, just a reminder to folks tuning in Tuesday, we have the rally at the Egyptian